So this is Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. It'll be trail day 85. I'm leaving the Gentian Pond shelter. I put my hammock up here in the overflow between that tree and that tree. It's kind of up on a ridge. Yeah, it was really windy last night, and it stayed windy till about 30 minutes ago. I'm getting a little bit of a late start. It's right at 12 o'clock. Got up at 9:30 and just been kind of putzing around. But I'm pretty sure no one's at the shelter, but we'll check that out in just a minute. Not too far from it. And the privy was right there. Maybe you can see through the trees, just a basic outhouse. And then the shelter's right down there, so I'll go check it out real quick. This is the Gentian Pond shelter. Not much to it. There was a bunch of hikers in here last night. Another trail that goes off that way. And then the pond is right there. I don't know if you can see it through the trees, but not a very big pond. It's got a nice view from the shelter though. So we're going 9.6 miles today is the goal. I'm going to stop at the shelter about a mile south of the Mahoosic Notch. And then we'll tackle that thing in the morning. 9-point-something miles in southern Maine. How hard can that be? But 4 miles is in northern New Hampshire. So yeah, we'll be in Maine in just a couple hours. How cool is that? Well, let's get it started. So from the shelter, it was fairly flat, gradual uphill for about... Really? The squirrel's upset. I interrupted his nut gathering. Anyway, we started coming up this hill, and now we're at a rebar step ladder. Well, it's not really rebar, it's just steel bars, but and more rock. Oh yeah, they're not too bad. That would probably be impossible in the rain without the steel bars. I feel a lot better about hiking today than yesterday. Yesterday I was just kind of but even though the terrain's a bit more challenging today, I feel better about it. Probably because I got 13 hours of sleep, but I did wake up a couple of times this morning before I got up, but it was just kind of a wake up and acknowledge the world existed before going back to sleep. Just enough of a hill climb to break a sweat. And then that makes you cold. So I did have mac and cheese and bacon bits for dinner. That was a whole box of mac and cheese. I was kind of doubting whether I'd be able to eat it all, but man, this stuff was good. So I didn't have no problems. I'm gonna have to make that at home sometime. Just those real bacon bins, a box of Kraft mac and cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper, and a splash of Tabasco. I could eat that almost every day. I'll have to get it more often. Oh, and butter. It's I did carry butter in New York when it was hot, but it just gets real soft and messy. It's cold enough now where it gets soft, but it's not messy. It doesn't get that soft. So yeah, a big old spoonful of butter. It added like 300 calories to the mac and cheese. Who wouldn't think of eating some of the stuff the way you do out here at home, but out here is, I don't want to say it's totally irrelevant. A lot of people eat tons of sugar. I've heard of one hiker who lived off like practically nothing but peanut butter and almost become a diabetic from it. I don't know what the truth behind that is, but I could see that, I guess. But yeah, a lot of the dehydrated stuff, you're not getting any fat from it, so a big spoonful of butter or a chunk of cheese. That's what I got for lunch, some beef jerky and a block of sharp cheddar. And some cream peas and chives crackers. So I'll probably get more into the food as I go along. I'm getting it figured out, or at least what works for me. So many people eat so many different things. A lot of people just eat the same thing. They're creatures of habit. But we go whatever works for you. My trick and pole tips are getting to where they occasionally slip. They're still not as round as they were when I got these, but they're working on getting some wear to them. I don't know how secure new tips are again. I might run these all the way through Maine and then get a new pair of tips. But then there's an outfitter between here and Katahdin, so if they have tips, I mean they're only like $12. So I may go ahead and replace them before I get through Maine. So climbing this mountain hasn't been too bad. Nothing crazy. Definitely nothing we haven't seen in New Hampshire before. And got a pretty good view right here. So we're like a mile and a half, something like that, from Maine. It's been kind of slow going this morning. All this climbing. Been doing like a mile an hour or something like that. But according to the elevation profile, once we get over this peak, it'll kind of level off a little, so maybe we can make up a little bit of that time. So I stepped off the trail there because I needed to pee and that, and this old trail here, so maybe there's a cool camp spot or something. And we passed the 1900 yesterday, so maybe this was part of the trail from last year, I don't know. But somebody put out 1900 in moose poop. I've seen a bunch of moose poop. I've been seeing it since Vermont, but here in northern New Hampshire, I haven't seen a lot of it. Haven't yet to see a moose, but they're definitely around, and they're walking the trail. We're not quite to the top, but pretty close. This is Mount Success. Some nice views. New Hampshire sure was a pretty state. But we're almost done with it and moving on to Maine. This is the top of Mount Success, and what lies behind is New Hampshire. And out there is Maine. I just checked. Got hooks for 1.9 miles from the border. So not far at all. So far today, this will be the most technical thing we've encountered. And it looks worse than it is. This is what you call an unofficial reroute. Where all the hikers have unofficially rerouted trail. I mean, you could go down that, you could slide down it on your butt, you could rip your pants open, you could fall 2 feet on a stick. Why the trail don't just go around that way, I don't know. It hasn't been windy all day. I hope it stays that way tonight in camp. It does make it a little easier to get up on a cold morning when it's not windy. So about a half a mile from Maine. And that's the way it just came down. And this is what we're going over. New Hampshire just had to get in one last lap. Now we gotta go down and up that. So yeah, one last laugh from New Hampshire, or a big hello to southbounders. That was about as bad as it looks. Alright, we'll be there shortly, and then I'm going to stop at the border and take a lunch. Well, there it is. Have made it to Maine. 282 miles to Katahdin. Not too far to go. Well, now it's time to find a spot and have a lunch. Our first official view in Maine. Some of that is New Hampshire, but all this to the right is Maine. We gotta go down this dip and over the top of that. So far, Maine hasn't been too bad. Fairly flat when you first get in Maine. But I have a feeling that's going to change. So we got like 5-something miles. That's 5:30. So we'll just see, according to the AWOL guide, you can camp pretty much anywhere in Maine unless it's posted otherwise, which will be a nice change from most of the places we've been in. But there's the issue of water. This next campsite has puddles, or you can go to the next shelter, which is the 5-something miles. That has good running water. I want to try to get there because that'll put us a mile from the Mahoosic Notch. But we'll see how it goes. The climb up here wasn't too bad. That little boulder field we had to climb down was a bit of a challenge, but one thing I'm noticing in Maine that I didn't see a lot of in New Hampshire is white blazes. I don't know what's up with the AMC section of the trail in New Hampshire. But in Maine so far you have one there, turn around, one there. Not gonna say it's gonna be like that the whole time, but got one right there. Another one there. Digging it so far. We'll probably go over that, but in order to go uphill, you gotta go downhill. I just checked, I think I said 5 miles at the state border. I may have been recalling the time I checked before, I don't know, because I just checked a few minutes ago and it's like 3.8 miles, and it's 6:15. It hasn't been, well, I don't know, I guess it's been about an hour, so maybe. Anyway, I got like 3.5 miles somewhere, 3.8 miles, something like that, to the shelter. But may be dark when we get there, but not by a whole lot. I can deal with that. Lord knows I've hiked enough sketchy stuff in the dark on this journey. But I try to keep it to a minimum. If I'd leave camp before lunchtime, I'd eliminate it altogether. Yeah, well, sleep's important. You know, it's funny, all these border crossings. The first one from Maryland into Pennsylvania, I believe it was pretty cool, because that was the first one, you know. I walked the trail across an entire state. And then Pennsylvania nearly got the best of me. My foot was screaming. It was hot. It was just miserable. But I was determined I was going to walk out of Pennsylvania. I had made it that far. I was walking out of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania into New Jersey was like the most emotional as far as border crossings go that I had. It meant something, you know, like I was determined I was going to do it, and I succeeded. But ever since then, it's like, I mean, it's cool because you've walked another state, you've ticked another one off the list, but they don't really have a significance. And I think that'll be good when I get to Virginia, because Virginia's a quarter of the trail. And I hear it plays with a lot of people's minds, just going so long without a state crossing, without that feeling of accomplishment. But for me, the feeling of accomplishment died out pretty early as far as, you know, border crossings go. Because in reality, it's kind of like, yeah, I've crossed another one, but I still got a bunch more to do. Probably North Carolina into Georgia will probably have some significance, because That'll be the last one. Other than I have to go back and do Massachusetts, but I had hiked into Massachusetts, and then when I skipped it, I hiked out of Massachusetts. So there's no border crossing there. It's just starting Massachusetts, ending Massachusetts. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I'm in Maine. I'm not that far from the end and the northern terminus. And then I get to turn around and head back home, where part of me wants to be, but part of me is enjoying this track too. And the track, in the scheme of things, will be short-lived, and hopefully the time at home will be long-lived after this. Not to say there's not many more adventures, but I have a lot that I want to do. Bike tour trips, bike packing, more hikes. I want to go back and finish the Barnum Trail. Well, I quit the Barnum Trail for good reason. Until I go finish it, I kind of feel defeated by it, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of short trips or trails, you know, of a week or two out there. But so far, Maine is no different than anywhere else. That may very well change here in the next couple of days. So I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like I'm rambling anyway. I will say one thing though. Everybody that, with my Chacos, I've run into a lot of grief about them on the trail. But I've ran into 4 other hikers that are wearing Chacos. So it's not that absurd. But everybody kept telling me, you just wait till you get to New Hampshire. You just wait till you get to the Whites. Well, I've been through New Hampshire, and I hiked through the Whites, and I still have all my toenails, and I don't have any, still yet to have any blisters. The only blister was the one coming out of Pine Grove Furnace, and that's because I was hiking fast, good terrain, and I didn't have socks on. So, one blister and 800 something miles, however many it's been. I hadn't calculated it lately. I don't think it's very bad. I don't recommend them for everybody still, but they're working very well for me, so I don't see any changing them anytime soon. I am noticing a lot They have these chiseled out for you to walk down, whereas in New Hampshire they just give you a big piece of slick rock to walk down. That's about the only big differences I noticed going from state line to state line. Some trail clubs, I don't want to say they do a better job, because all the trail clubs are probably doing the best they can with what they got. But some areas of the trail, seems like more thought's been put into hiking it. That'd be a decent hammock spot. Would suck for a tent. All those roots. Last night in my hammock, it was the second time this has happened. It was so windy. The whole tree was rocking. And that's probably why I went to sleep so fast and just slept soundly through the night. I was just rocking all night long. Alright, I guess I'm uphill now. The sun has set. It's 10 to 7. I got like 2.8 miles or something like that. So we'll have to hike in the dark for sure. Not by much. At least we should get over this before it gets dark. So just climbed up that, not so bad. And now we have rebar ladders. How cool is that? I guess they ran out of rebar. The adventures in Maine. It's gotten dark. I'm 2.1 miles away. And typically, but this is quite the jungle gem of inventive wooden contraptions and rocks. So back in, I don't know, as far back as Vermont, 2 miles would mean an hour or less. But since we hit New Hampshire, and now Maine, typically means an hour, a mile, or less. I would prefer to have been at camp before dark, but if I'd have had plenty of water, I would have stealth camped somewhere. But the water sources is fairly scarce, and the next one is at the shelter, so that is where we're going, even though it's already dark. I have less than a quart, and I'm thirsty right now, so and we're kind of going down this ridge, and then we'll go up something and down that, and the campsite's kind of in the valley in between. So I'm not sure what challenges lie ahead, but I'll just take it easy and get where I'm going. So I'm 1 mile from the campsite. Gotta climb up this. I'm almost done climbing. I'm right at the top of this mountain. It's mostly been boardwalks over bogs or just rocky mountaintop, like that smooth rock with no trees and rock cairns. But I'm mainly concerned about the almost 800 foot of descent between here and the shelter. There's a gut hook's coming, says it's a inventive array of steps and ladders and boulders and roots to hang on to. So it might be interesting. We'll just deal with it when we get there. If it wasn't for the fact I needed water, I'd stopped already, but water would be nice. So it's 9 o'clock. I'm less than half a mile from the shelter. Surprisingly, the terrain's been fairly mellow. A lot of those wooden boardwalks. And now it's just staying fairly flat. So, I don't know if anyone's at the shelter. I imagine all the hikers that were at the shelter last night and got up super early, pushed through and got through the Mahoosic and stayed at that shelter. It was like 4 miles north of this one. I haven't seen anyone all day. No one's passed me. Not seen any southbounders. There's probably no one at this shelter, but you never know. Somebody might have decided to call it an early day and save the Mahoosic for tomorrow. But I'll be quiet when I get there and find a camp spot and some water. And hopefully I can get up earlier tomorrow. I think I was just tired from yesterday. The day before at the hostel, I didn't go to bed till late. That's just the way it goes, it seems, at hostels. But whatever. I feel like I could sleep, but I'm not as tired as I was yesterday. So. Anyway, we'll wrap today up and finish our last little bit here in the dark and start off tomorrow with boulders the size of school buses and crevices I'm probably too big to get through, but I will video as much as that as I can. I don't want to make like a 3-hour video of the Mahoosic Notch or nothing, but I definitely want you to know what it's like. So anyway, we'll see what there is to see tomorrow. Oop. Okay, so just came down all the lovely rebar. And now we got some more lovely rebar. I'm not using the trekking poles to put any weight, just to kind of stabilize myself. Let me turn the camera where you can see. Maybe. Oh, good stuff. Let's see how much further we got to go. Should be pretty close. 0.1 miles ahead. Not much further at all. So, yep, just had to show you that one last little tidbit of the day.